Okay, this is just a very quick video here on the balance of payments. Right, you should all know why we have a balance of payments. It's sort of like common sense really. We've got a small manufacturing sector. The rise of China produces all of our goods. We've got poor supply side in the UK. We've got very low productivity in the UK compared to other nations. It's about 20% lower than it is in Europe and America. We've had Brexit, so more paperwork, so therefore it makes it harder to export our goods. So this will also increase the trade deficit. And we also have a high marginal propensity to import. So if we get more money, we tend to spend that money on imports. I think you all know this. So this is a rough idea of our current accounts, which is minus 100 billion quid. Visibles, invisibles, primary income. Remember, that's profits from all the investments made in the UK, which go abroad. Secondary income is money that we give to the EU and money that we give in aid. Okay, so then we have the financial account on here, which probably doesn't quite fit on our screen, but this means the financial account is FDI, portfolio investment, and hot money that might come into the UK. So if there is a trade deficit, which is £100 billion here, then we must attract money in through this account on here. Right, and then we can then talk about why FDI is so good. FDI is so good, one, because it pays for our trade deficits, that's good. But secondly, we invest in the UK, AS curve goes out, multiplier accelerator goes out, increase the AS curve, new technology into the UK, and it also will increase our exports. The only drawback is the money will go out, the profits and dividends will go out of the primary income account. Is a trade deficit a cause for concern? Yes, it is. Because if AD goes down, because it will make aggregate demand go down, I think you all know this. And remember, AD is equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus M. So if AD goes down, then somehow we have to, because of our trade deficit, then somehow we have to increase demand to keep our economy going. So we've either got to rely on G or consumption. And more government spending leads to national debt, and more consumption leads to consumer debt. Also, of course, the exchange rate will fall. And you know the effects on that because we've just done that in the previous video. And hopefully we'll be okay as long as we get FDI. But ever since Brexit in 2016, the FDI has not been coming in at as such a quick rate as it did before. If we do not get FDI, then the UK is in trouble in terms of its balance of payments. How do we solve a trade deficit? Okay, your opening gambit here, supply side solves everything. So for example, if we have intervention supply side, green revolution, that would help to solve a trade deficit, or we have free market economics, falling corporation tax, etc., that would also help to solve a trade deficit. A decrease in the interest rate, which will decrease in the exchange rate. This is called an expenditure switching policy because we're more likely to sell more exports. We've already done that argument, right? We can write a massive long paragraph on that, keep it simple. Export prices fall, import prices go up, etc., but the Marshall Lerner and then the J curve, or we can lead to fall in AD, less imports, or we can attract FDI. Okay, e.g. low corporation tax, know the figures, we know all about that off by heart. So basically that's how we solve a trade deficit. Is it a cause for concern? If we don't get any FDI, then we're in a bit of trouble. Okay, and finally, just put this on the end here, supply side solves everything, e.g. right, economic growth, think corporation tax again, more investment, therefore it shifts out the AS curve. Right, think free market economics, because it increases the underlying trend rate of growth, increases labour market flexibility. It will shift out the AS curve, which is what Liz Truss's big dream was. Or we've got interventionist supply side, cagerism if you like, shifting out AS and AD. Or full employment. We can use free market economics on here. The natural rate of unemployment is falling in the UK. Okay, so if we can use free market economics, that will reduce the natural rate of unemployment. Or we can also use free market or interventionist, which will shift out the AS curve, which then means we can run the economy at higher levels of aggregate demand without getting inflation. Increase AD because AS has moved out. Or it can also improve the balance of payments. Think about it. Reduce corporation tax, more productivity, selling more goods abroad, increasing our exports. Or we have inflation. It can solve demand pull inflation because the AS curve moves out. It can also solve cost push inflation because increasing corporation tax, more investment, more productivity. The SRS will move to the right because it's cheaper to produce each unit. It will reduce cost push and demand pull. So on any question you ever get, supply side will solve all of our four major objectives. Right, thank you very much.